So today we have to discuss about the result of the World War One. Okay. So result of the World War One in this, the very first thing is Treaty of Versailles. Okay. So victorious powers, that is the allied nations, Britain, France, USA, they met in a conference, and this conference was organized in Versailles. So we saw the reason why Versailles Palace, because France suffered a great humiliation. So just to take the revenge, the peace conference was conducted in Versailles. And I told you in the previous session that the way German convicts were brought, so we saw that when the king fled away, a new republic was formed. It was a Weimar Republic, right? So the people of the Weimar Republic, they were tied with chains, and then they were brought in the palace of Versailles. They were made to sit down in front of everyone, and they were said to they were compelled to say sorry. Okay, so in this way the people of the Weimar Republic of Germany, they were treated. Okay, and the terms and conditions of this Treaty of Versailles, this was dictated by three important personalities. Woodrow Wilson was the American president, Lloyd George was the Prime Minister of Britain, and George Clemenceau, he was the Prime Minister of France. Okay, so these three people dictated the terms and conditions of the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, so the drawback was that there were other countries also who supported these three countries in this war. We saw that even Japan was from the side of victorious countries, even Italy was from the side of victorious countries, but unfortunately all these victorious countries were kept aside, and the terms and conditions of the treaty were decided by just three powers, that is America, Britain, and France. Okay, so all the other countries were not allowed to be a part of this victorious countries. Even Russia, though it left the war in middle, but in the beginning Russia was from the side of Great Britain, but then Russia was also not invited to the conference. The other defeated countries also, they were not invited to this conference. Okay, so the discussion was conducted in this Paris conference, and out of this Paris conference, Treaty of Versailles was born, and officially this treaty was signed by Germany and the other defeated countries, and with this treaty the war came to an end. Okay, now the most important role was played by American President Woodrow Wilson. Okay, so Woodrow Wilson, he had given a document called as 14-point document. Okay, but Woodrow Wilson, he wanted that this treaty to be lesser in tone. Okay, he didn't want this treaty to be too harsh, because Woodrow Wilson had warned Britain and France that if this treaty would be too harsh, it would sow the seeds of yet another war. So Woodrow Wilson personally wanted that the terms and conditions of this treaty should be a little bit less. Okay, so that is, he designed the treaty in order to to specify like the conditions and all. Okay, but Britain and France were not ready to listen. Okay, especially France was not ready to listen, because France was very clear. France wanted to take the revenge of its insult, and as a result we see that the treaty was designed in such a way that they wanted to take the revenge, and especially the target was Germany. And so this treaty is considered to be one of the root cause of World War II. Okay, so let us try to understand the terms and conditions of this treaty. This is very important. This has come in mains for many a times. Okay, so this treaty is extremely important. As a result, so this treaty is both, it's a consequence of World War I and it is a cause of World War II. Okay, so first point is that the entire blame of World War I was put on Germany. So Germany was declared to be guilty of aggression. Okay, since you became aggressive, we saw what steps were taken by Germany: development of submarines, U-boats, deepening of Kiel Canal, then the railway line. Okay, all that. So Germany was declared that you are guilty of aggression. Okay, second thing, Germany was required to pay for the loss and damages suffered by all the allied countries. So ये जो victorious countries थे, Britain, France, America, इनके जो भी loss हो गया in World War I, उसका पूरा compensation Germany was compelled to pay. Okay, so Germany had to pay for the compensation of this World War I. Okay, apart from that, Germany was compelled that it had to pay a amount for compensation, and that amount was $33 billion. Okay, so it was such a big amount that Germany had to pay, $33 billion. Okay, apart from that, Germany had to cede its merchant ships. So Germany के जितने भी merchant ships थे, it had to give to allied powers as a war compensation. So this would affect in future the trade and commerce of Germany. Okay, so Germany had to cede her merchant ships to the victorious countries as a compensation, and this affected its trade and commerce. Next important thing, Germany had to supply huge quantities of coal to France, Belgium, and Italy for next 10 years. Okay, so for next 10 years, Germany had to supply coal to these three countries. Then Rhine Valley. So third point is about Rhine Valley. Rhine Valley, it's an area between France and Germany on the west side of Germany. It was a very important military base of Germany where German army was stationed. So Germany was ordered to demilitarize this Rhine Valley. Okay, so the area of Rhine Valley was to be demilitarized, and that entire area which was west of the river Rhine, it was to be occupied by allied troops for the next 15 years. Okay, so for the next 15 years the allied troops will be occupying this Rhine Valley area. Okay, so these are the initial terms and conditions of this treaty. That is, first point, Germany was declared to be guilty of aggression. Second thing, the entire blame of the war was put on Germany, and Germany was compelled to pay for the loss of all the damages suffered by the allied countries, and the amount of compensation was $33 billion. Not only this, it had to give away its merchant ships as a compensation and supply huge quantities of coal to France, Belgium, and Italy for next 10 years. And most important, Rhine Valley area, it was ordered to be demilitarized, and this area of Rhine Valley was to be occupied by the allied troops, that is Britain, France, and USA, mainly these three countries, for the next 15 years. Okay, so these are the initial conditions. The next important thing, all the important German territories, okay, it had to give away. So Germany had to give away Alsace and Lorraine. We had seen this was originally French territory. So now Germany had to return this territory to France. Then it had to give away Eupen et Malmedy to Belgium, Schleswig to Denmark, and Danzig. So actually this war divided Germany into two parts. Okay, so entire Germany को दो parts में divide कर दिया, West Germany and East Germany. And West and East Germany के बीच में से a new country Poland was made, and Germany का जो port था Danzig, it was now made a free international port under Poland. That is the Polish territory. Okay, I guess there will be map. Yeah, so you can see over here, Russia से Poland was taken, and यहाँ पे Poland, like Russian का part was taken, and it was made a Poland, a new country. Germany का two parts, you can see here there is one Germany, here there is one Germany, and in between this is Poland. Okay, and यहाँ पे there is a way, and यहाँ पे there was a port here somewhere, and that was named as a Danzig port. Okay, so in this way Germany was divided into two parts by this war. Next important thing was that in restrictions were even we are here, yes. So Germany had to secede part of her pre-war territory. So before war territory, even that areas, it had to give away to Denmark, Belgium, Poland, Czechoslovakia, and France. So basically, from all the angles, the basic intention was to lessen the territory and to weaken Germany. Okay, so as a result, many of the German parts were given away to the different countries. Okay, the basic intention was to take the revenge, to weaken Germany, so that in future it would never ever think of any other war. Okay, coal mines. So Germany का एक famous area है Saar area. So that Saar area is famous for the coal mines. So Germany had to give away this Saar area to France for 15 years. Okay, and this area would be governed by a new international organization which was born after World War I, that was League of Nations. Okay, so League of Nations would be guarding that area, but it was given to France for 15 years. Then Germany के जितने भी वर्ल्ड में कॉलोनीज थे, Germany lost its colonies to the victorious countries. Okay, so they were distributed to the different countries: Britain, Belgium, South Africa. South Africa was actually a British colony only, and Portugal. So all its colonies were lost to the different countries. Its colonies which were there in Pacific and the areas under control in China, it was given to Japan. Okay, so actually even China had supported allied countries. China had supported Britain in World War I, but that was, you can see, a breach or violation done by Britain by giving a part of China to Japan, and that resulted into animosity between China and Japan, and वो इतना उनका झगड़ा escalate हो गया that throughout the World War II they were enemies of each other. And the way Japanese people tortured Chinese, literally Japanese people did medical experimentations with the bodies of the Chinese, and that resulted into death of so many Chinese people that even today also China mourn that stage of being tortured by Japan, and today also these two countries are enemies. Okay, so the animosity started from this point when China ka area was given to Japan, even though China had supported Britain. Okay, so that was a mistake that was done by Britain in this reallocation. Then Germany ka army was restricted to only 1 lakh soldiers. So it could maintain only 1 lakh soldiers, navy only 15,000 men and 24 ships. Complete ban was on submarines. So German U-boats, which were very famous in World War One, they were completely banned, and Germany ka air force was also banned. Okay, so Luftwaffe was the German air force, it was completely banned. Then the treaty affirmed, now the new countries were born, and Balkans में जो countries थे उनको independence मिला, and the territory was reorganized. Okay, so complete independence was assured of Belgium. Belgium, we saw that it was being attacked by Germany. Poland, a new country, was there. Czechoslovakia. So Czechoslovakia was a country which was born in Balkans and Yugoslavia by merging the few Balkan areas. Okay, and a new organization was born. So Covenant of League of Nations was added to Treaty of Versailles. So the first international organization was born after World War One. That was League of Nations. Okay, so this is all about the Treaty of Versailles. Very important from the exam perspective. Try to memorize a few of its points. Okay, so the territories and all given to different countries. SAR area, again an important point. The restriction imposed on Germany ka army, navy, air force, that is important. And the birth of League of Nations. Okay, even International Labour Organization was born in 1919. Okay, so even this was born as a specialized agency in 1919. Okay, next important consequence of World War One is territorial rearrangement. Okay, so first consequence we saw Treaty of Versailles, that is also a cause of World War II. The second important consequence or effect is territorial arrangement. Okay, so this period we saw that it is the beginning of end of European supremacy. Okay, so for up till now, up till World War One, the dominant entities in the world were Britain and France. Okay, and especially Britain was the most powerful country of the world, and Europe dominated the world. But World War One, it marked the beginning of the end of European supremacy, and slowly and gradually we saw that what did America do throughout World War One? America did not personally join, but America in the beginning, because America was busy in making arms and ammunitions and earning money. So that was the basic intention of America, to empower itself economically and militarily. So as a result, now we see that it's a rise of America. Okay, so economically and militarily, United States, it slowly and gradually surpassed Europe to become the world power. Ab tak bana nahi tha. World War II confirmed American rise. Okay, so but this was definitely the beginning of rise of America. Fine. Now the peace treaties, it completely transformed the map of Europe. Okay, so we'll see that many ruling dynasties came to an end. So Romanov dynasty in Russia came to an end during the war, which we will be beginning today. Russian Revolution, we had seen that Lenin entered into Russia, and that resulted into Russian Revolution. That marked the end of Romanov dynasty in Russia and beginning of communism. Then we saw that in Germany, German emperor fled away. So he fled away to Holland. So that is the end of Hohenzollern dynasty of Germany. Okay, and beginning of the Weimar Republic, that is democracy in Germany. Then in Austria-Hungary, Habsburg dynasty was there. So even after World War One, the rule of monarchy came to an end, and Austria and Hungary separated as the countries, and these two countries became democratics. Okay, so this was an aftermath of World War One, that important dynasties, monarchical form of government came to an end, and we see that birth of democracy. Okay, democracy, and in Russia it was communism, but in Germany it was democracy, in Austria-Hungary it was democracy, even in Turkey. So we are seeing that in middle of the war, Turkey underwent a revolution, and Mustafa Kemal Pasha, we had seen the Battle of Gallipoli. So he was a commander of the Battle of Gallipoli, who achieved great success in this particular battle. And then Mustafa Kemal Pasha overthrew Ottoman Turks and Turkey became dictator. But if you see the nature of Turkey, Turkey, in spite of being an Islamic nation, it is considered to be one of the most reformist and modern Islamic country, because Mustafa Kemal Pasha was a secular guy and he wanted to westernize his country. Okay, so he introduced all the Western norms in Turkey, and Turkey is considered to be one of the modern Islamic nations. Fine. So this was again an aftermath of World War One. Then Austria and Hungary, we saw that throughout World War One, they were one countries. But then after World War One, these two countries separated and they became independent nations. Then Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia, they emerged as the new countries in the Balkan area. And in this way, we see that all these arrangements, it gave a threat, or you can say a great blow to the autocratic monarchical system, and slowly and gradually we see the development of democracy in Europe. So Europe was one such continent which was dominated by monarchical form of government, but this war even changed the form of government. Okay, so that was again an independent important thing. Empires having different cultures, they were dissolved, and independent states, okay, having distinct cultures emerged after the war. Okay, so we see that Finland, a particular nation of Finnish people, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Yugoslavia, it's a nation of Slavic people. Okay, so in this way we see that all these countries belonging to a particular race or particular language, they came together and they formed their homogeneous countries. Okay, so all these new countries, so Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, these are called as the Baltic nations. Okay, so all these new countries were born after this World War One. Okay, so this is the territorial reorganization of Europe after World War One. Okay, so this is again a biggest consequence of World War One. After this, the next important thing is formation of League of Nations. Okay, so birth of League of Nations is again considered to be a very important impact or consequence of League of Nation, of World War One. Now, why League of Nations was formed? So this basically, the leaders who were involved in the World War One, they understood that the war is not a solution. It's a very deadly thing because so many people die in this. So they thought that in future, if we want to prevent any further war, we need a mechanism, we need an organization that will promote international cooperation. Okay, and that finally culminated into League of Nations. Originally, League of Nations was the idea of Woodrow Wilson, American president. Okay, so American president Woodrow Wilson ka ye birth child hai, that is, it was his idea to form an international organization of all the independent states. But however, though America is the founder, or you can say America ka ye concept hai, American president ka League of Nations, but America did not join the League of Nations. The reason was that American president Woodrow Wilson, he saw the Treaty of Versailles and he had warned Britain and France that don't be too harsh, but Britain and France didn't listen. So Woodrow Wilson had clearly predicted that this treaty is going to lead into yet another war. And Woodrow Wilson, he said that we don't want to get involved into European business. We don't want to enter into your things if you don't want to listen to us. So we want to be away and we want to be isolated. And as a result, America kept itself aloof, or did not join the League of Nations. Okay, so though it was one of the country in the birth of this organization, but America did not join it, and America remained away from the European politics. Okay, so this is all about World War One. So we have covered its causes, its course of war. In the previous session, we studied course of war, and these are the consequences.